Welcome to the Top Up, a series from the geniuses behind Top Year. Now, on these special episodes, we'll be topping up on everyone's knowledge on some of our favourite history-defining moments. We'll bring you a digestible dose of more specific topics from events, people, and everything in between. I'm Max.
I'm Bond.
And I'm James.
Ooh. Well, our quest to create the ultimate year tier continues, but for now, let's top up on the history of Ian Fleming.
Oh, yeah.
For those that don't know, there was a little clue given in the introductions of why this man might be famous. For those that don't know.
And the title of the episode.
Yeah.
I hope.
Who knows?
Yes, we're going to get very spy-y today.
Bit of espionage going on, perhaps.
Yes, we're going to look into the interesting life and career and impact of Sir Ian Fleming.
Yeah, we are. Kyle, you messaged us the other day and you just said, "Oh, we should do Ian Fleming." Did that come out of anything, or?
I was watching a video about kids' movies, kids' spy movies. And then there was a little tangent on Ian Fleming.
The Spy Next Door.
The Spy Next Door, Spy Kids, Kim Possible. Yeah. Just casual viewing, you know?
Do you guys remember The Secret Show?
Oh, yes.
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 Yeah, that one ripped.
One of the
my
best
gosh.
intros of all time.
I have to look that up right now.
That scat break in the intro.
The Secret Show.
Oh, I think all songs should have a scat break.
Fisher will love a reference to The Secret Show. Shout out.
Oh, wowza. That's
Yeah.
funny. Oh, Mission Impossible trailer.
So all sorts of spy stuff going on today. How are we, boys? How are we feeling?
I'm feeling espionage. Sorry, espionage.
I'm feeling keen. Actually, I'm very interested to hear what you guys have.
Yes.
I'm keen to hear about this man.
I'm feeling a little paranoid. I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know who amongst us could be a spy.
All right, well,
Yeah.
not me.
A spy would say that.
Yeah, well,
Not me, guys. It's not me.
it could be me. I'll have to wait and see.
Taking down Top Year from the inside. Damn it.
Yeah, we quizzed up, of course.
As we do.
We had to.
In this glorious top-up, we completed a quiz called Which James Bond Are You?
Oh, yeah.
This is by Whitney Jefferson, BuzzFeed staff. 7 comments, including, in the villain, where the hell was Scrumanger, aka the man with the golden gun? You have golden finger, but not the golden gun. Like, really? Someone said that.
So can we trust this quiz? Oof.
Isn't that guy who plays Saruman? What's his name?
Christopher Lee.
Who's also another spy.
You know, I didn't actually look into this, but I look up fun facts about Ian Fleming, and I'm just going to tell you now, Christopher Lee and Ian Fleming are related.
Really?
What?
They're step cousins.
And they're also both spies.
I didn't know. Oh yeah, Christopher
Yeah.
Lee.
Yep.
He was a spy in that big tower. Anyway, choose a martini, guys.
I went for the one bottom middle. Looked nice and refreshing.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
all I based that
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
I
did
went
too.
with the one on the bottom right, espresso martini. Looks more like chocolate milk.
Looks
That's why I
chocolate.
chose it.
What location for our mission do we pick?
England.
I did Italy.
I went for France.
I don't think I do well with the barrier, like the language barrier.
Yeah, but the language barrier is then
You're a spy, like-
you can just punch them. You know, like you're a spy.
Is that how it works?
Yes.
What about villain?
I did Jaws.
That is a pretty cool villain.
I'm getting chomped.
I did Le Chiffre
So did I.
because it's Mads.
Yeah.
He is pretty scary.
An OG friend of the show with those weird sunnies that we posted.
All right, should we reveal the Bond?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I can go first.
Okay.
No description. It's just name and GIF actually as well.
Yeah, there's a little gif.
But I'm Pierce Brosnan.
Oh wow,
Hey, same.
that's good. You
Nice.
got gut Bond.
Yeah.
There's a GIF of him nodding and smiling while
Yeah.
driving a car.
With his pearly whites.
Looking pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's weird. I mainly just know him from Mrs. Doubtfire because I've seen that movie a million times.
Fair enough.
I got Timothy Dalton.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen
think
any
he-
of his Bond movies.
I think he's only in a couple.
Yeah.
Doesn't he only have
Isn't
one?
He might only have one. Maybe I'm... No, he has two.
Oh,
License to Kill and The Living Daylights. At least The Living Daylights looks like a Bond movie, but it could just be a spoof. I have no
It
idea.
is.
Okay,
It is.
cool. The poster is it's pretty weird looking.
What was the second one?
The Living Daylights.
Living Daylights.
I'm just pretty
License
stoked I
to
got Sean
Top.
Connery.
Oh,
Oh,
Who
that's
is the
yeah,
goat,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
the first one.
the OG.
Yeah.
None of us got Daniel Craig.
We're not cool enough, I don't think.
Nah,
Yeah, you can only have one Daniel Craig at a time.
that's so true. Should we top up?
I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
time.
All right, I'll be kicking this off with the early life and then a few other sections on Ian. On the 28th of May 1908, Ian Lancaster Fleming was born in London to his parents Valentine and Evelyn.
Oh,
He had an older brother, Peter, and two younger brothers, Richard and Michael. Just after the outbreak of World War I in August of 1914, Ian's dad, Valentine, enlisted as a captain in the Queen's Own Oxfordshire Hussars, which was a regiment of the British Army, and by December he had been promoted to major. But unfortunately he was killed in May of 1917 by German shelling on the Western Front, and news of his death reached the Fleming family just days before Ian's 9th birthday.
oh.
A good friend of his father, Winston Churchill, wrote his obituary in the newspaper.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a bomb to drop. Close friend. Winston said about his dad, he was the most earnest and sincere in his desire to make things better for the great body of the people. So sounds like a good fella.
Nice thing to say.
And I feel like Valentine's a pretty cool name.
It's a great name.
In school, at Eton College, Ian wasn't the best student academically, but he excelled in athletics. Twice awarded Victor Ladorum, which means champion of the games. So he was pretty much the best athlete at his college twice. And he was a bit of a scoundrel, a bit of a nuisance in class. And his mother made a deal with the housemaster that Ian would leave Eton for the Sandhurst Military College in 1926. He only stayed there for 1 year, though, as he thought he was not suited to be a soldier.
Damn.
Yes,
Couldn't
Be a
hack it.
spy, though.
maybe. He then moved to Europe, spending a year in Kitzbühel in Austria. I probably destroyed that. This is where his mother sent him to improve his language skills. And he gained an appreciation for fiction and also spent lots of time climbing, exploring, before he moved to Munich University and then to Geneva University. He studied to become a training journalist, and then he also became a stockbroker, which he apparently sucked at. And then he moved around Russia to report on military strength and morale ahead of almost certain war, and this was in 1939. So big chunk of time there, basically the first 31 years of his life.
I like how he just tried to be a stockbroker and then went,
Yeah, not for me.
oh well, back to journalism.
Yeah. My dad's friend was Churchill, we're fine.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Damn, I'm flying through my stuff. I thought I'd take longer.
That's all right.
All right, this is a little section on the Navy.
Ooh.
In July of 1939, Ian was hired as an assistant to the Director of Naval Intelligence, John Godfrey, in the Royal Navy. He became a lieutenant in the special branch of the Royal Navy Volunteer Reserve, which was a rank he would give James Bond in the future.
Oh, wow.
Ah,
It's also speculated that John Godfrey is an inspiration for the character M, head of MI6. So here is kind of when he started to do spy things. In 1940, the next year, Ian's youngest brother Michael was captured in Normandy, a part of the retreat in Dunkirk, and he later died from his wounds.
Whoa.
During World War II, Ian regularly visited the United States to strengthen the intelligence between the US and the UK, and he even advised the US Colonel Donovan on the creation of the OSS, which was the predecessor to the CIA.
oh, what?
Yes, which is pretty cool. And on one of those visits in 1941, Fleming and Godfrey stopped in Portugal. They stayed at the Casino Estoril for one night. And when leaving, he asked Godfrey, what if those men had been German Secret Service agents, and suppose we had cleaned them out for their money? Now, would that have been exciting? Wow.
The name of that casino's It's ringing some bells for me.
But that little quote there is pretty much direct inspiration for Casino Royale because they steal the money from Le Chiffre. I think, is Le Chiffre German? I don't know.
Probably.
In 1942, the next year, the 30 Assault Unit, or AU, was founded, which was a British commando unit formed to accompany troops and gather intelligence. This group was Ian's brainchild, and they began with small assignments. But later in the war, the unit became far more effective and important and was even a part of seizing logs and diaries of the German Navy dating back to the Franco-Prussian War, which is the 1870s.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest, when you said logs, I was thinking trees. It's like, they're seizing those logs. Where are you going with those logs? Wow, 1870s.
But yeah, he was also involved in Operation Goldeneye, which was a stay-behind plan to maintain an intelligence framework in Spain in the event of a German takeover of the territory. And that was between 1941 and 1942. There was T-Force, which he helped create,
T-Force.
which was Target Force, not G-Force, Guinea Pig Force. But yes, that was tasked with obtaining records and information from enemy laboratories and headquarters.
Far out.
Yeah, no rodents involved.
Boring.
So yeah, he was kind of informing and advising on,
All sorts of stuff.
discovering secrets and things like that. Pretty cool, but also very dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting records that go back
To the 1800s.
70 years at that point
That's
is
impressive.
insane.
Very impressive.
Okay, where am I? In 1943, he was a part of something called Operation Mincemeat.
How do they name these?
Yummy.
Which was an espionage mission with this is actually incredible. It had the goal of being a decoy mission. The next year in 1943, Fleming was a part of something called Operation Mincemeat.
Great name.
Yummy.
It was an espionage mission with the goal of being a decoy. Super interesting on this. The plan was to spread misinformation to convince Germany that the Allies planned to invade Greece and Sardinia in 1943 instead of Sicily. So they basically
Let's go.
Tricked you.
wanted to throw them off. But yeah, I think it had something to do with them dumping a fake body in the water, knowing exactly where it would wash up and like exactly where the Germans would find it. And then that would be how they knew to go to Greece instead of Sicily.
That's pretty
crazy.
cool. It's quite smart.
Yeah, they really
Devious
thought that
from
one
the
through. Yeah.
But yeah, don't quote me on that. I feel like we can all watch that movie, which we just discovered,
Came out in 2021.
with Colin Firth and the guy from Succession
Yes.
and Deadpool. Anyway, during his time in the Navy, he was a part of around 30 operations, and I already brought up GoldenEye, which is just a great name.
So cool.
Let me find out what GoldenEye actually was. Talk amongst yourselves.
Operation Goldeneye.
I was just looking at Operation Mincemeat, like the little Google page on it. I like this term. Operation Mincemeat was a successful British deception operation.
Deceit. Deceit.
Just kind of cold.
All right. Operation GoldenEye was an Allied stay-behind plan. While I'm reading this out, can one of you look up what a stay-behind plan is?
Sure.
Thanks.
I have a guess, but I'll look it up and see if it...
Yeah.
I have a little guess, but they basically wanted to monitor Spain after a possible alliance between Francisco Franco and the Axis powers, and they wanted to undertake sabotage operations. The plan was formed by Ian Fleming.
That's kind of sick.
This is interesting. This is what a stay... Oh, yeah, Jonty's got it up there. Stay-behind operation is one where a country places secret operatives or organizations in its own territory for use in case of a later enemy occupation.
Okay.
Bit of espionage.
So if someone like takes over, they've got people still in there that are doing some
would
deception.
be so scary.
Yeah, it's like you're going to stay behind in case we
Yeah.
get invaded. You're going to take them
Gosh.
down from the inside.
The purpose. I've got the purpose. His role. And the outcome of Operation Goldeneye. No German takeover of Spain or the invasion of Gibraltar occurred, and the plan was shelved in 1943.
It's been shelved.
They've
Does that mean
shelved
it
the
was
book.
successful or they just stopped
Yeah.
doing it, I wonder?
I am not sure.
Yeah.
But,
Espionage, man. World War II espionage.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows?
Moving
Could still
on.
be going on.
In 1944, this is kind of him moving away from the Navy and espionage. Fleming was invited to attend the Anglo-American Naval Conference in Jamaica, where he stayed with his friend Ivar Bryce. And during his stay, he reportedly said to Ivar, "I have made a great decision. When we have won this blasted war, I'm going to live in Jamaica. Just live in Jamaica and lap it up and swim in the ocean and write books."
Nice.
So around this time, he had the idea to create spy stories to end all spy stories.
Wow.
Yes. And he also had a massive book collection, apparently.
Ah.
Just a really, I don't know, it's quite a cool vibe.
What, living in Jamaica and just writing books?
Is that me? I want to live in Jamaica and write books.
When the war ended in 1945, Ian Fleming took up a foreign manager position at Kemsley News, author of the Sunday Times, and he was able to negotiate 2 months of living in Jamaica into his contract, which is fantastic.
Pretty great.
And it was in 1947 he purchased a former donkey racetrack, which is where he built his home, named Goldeneye.
So cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
A
Having a
donkey
name for
racetrack.
your house is just cool anyway.
Yeah. That's hype.
A few years later in 1951, Fleming became managing director of the Queen Anne Press, which was a publishing house which produced limited edition copies for authors. And the next year, he also launched The Book Collector, which is the only journal in the world dedicated to book collecting. And the journal still runs today. So I feel like a few of us might actually be interested in
Subscribe to that.
signing up. But yes, from this time, he decided to focus on his child and his writing.
All right, thank you, Kyle, for that interesting look at the start of Ian Fleming's life and career.
Oh, yeah.
As we get into this next section, Wilson has donned a tinfoil hat.
Yeah, I'm worried for my health because I might be the spy, but I won't say anything.
Some mental espionage. Nothing's getting in or out of there.
It's a new era of espionage.
Mm-hmm.
Telepathy.
I'm going to keep this top up rolling with a little look at Ian Fleming's transition into writing and his most famous creation. So, as Kyle had mentioned, during the war, he had mentioned to a few people that he was interested in writing spy novels
In Jamaica.
in Jamaica, living it up, living his best life. And yes, he was at his house, Goldeneye, and in 1952, he starts writing Casino Royale.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently it only took him about 2 months to write.
What?
So he was cranking through that thing.
Johnny's happy about
The disrespect.
I guess that's what happens when you're in Jamaica with like nothing else to do.
that. You were previously a spy.
Yeah, you got a lot of
Yeah,
knowledge.
yeah.
Apparently he claimed afterwards that he wrote this novel to distract himself from his forthcoming wedding to his fiancée.
Jaunty. Write a book, pal.
You got a few months. He called this work his dreadful oafish opus.
Oafish.
So I don't think he liked it
I think
very
he
much.
likes it,
but,
yeah.
but his manuscript was typed up in London by Joan Howe, who was his secretary when he was working at the Times newspaper.
How?
Yeah.
Very well said.
And she was the inspiration for the character Miss Moneypenny.
Ah.
Yes. So when he was drafting up Casino Royale, he showed it to his friend William Plomer. And the friend said, I'm quoting here, "So far as I can see, the element of suspense is completely absent."
Wow.
which is not a glowing review of
No.
the of a novel we're about to release. But apparently they thought, you know what, it's got a bit of promise. We're going to send it off to a publishing house, see if they want to pick it up and publish it. They were unenthusiastic. They were not keen. But Fleming's brother Peter, this publishing house also managed some of his books, and so he sort of persuaded the company to, you know what, let's give this Casino Royale a go, see what happens.
Well, that's the best idea he's ever made.
Yeah. So in 1953, it releases in the UK in hardcover. It's priced at 10 shillings and 6 pence.
10 shillings.
And Fleming designed the cover himself.
Oh no, my hat's coming off. That's not scared of espionage anymore.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how much 10 shillings and 6 pence would be now, but
Probably about that much worth of.
Let me do
foil.
a Let me do a 6 pence check.
yeah, little currency
10 shillings
conversion.
and 6 pence.
Give me your finest Casino Royale, good sir. And that would cost, in today's coinage,
Pre-decimal inflation calculator, yes. Oh, John, thank you.
Oh, what a surprise!
I should
I'm
have done
familiar
this.
with this website.
I should have done this way earlier.
Hey, before you guys get into the pence count, let's go for I just googled it. The first edition of Casino Royale is worth $15,000 to $25,000 in good condition.
Really?
Yeah,
That is incredible. That
All
is
right.
crazy.
with signed
10
copies even going higher.
10 shillings is about $1.30.
Also,
It's,
that's actually quite.
I don't know,
wrong.
the 6 pence could be like $1 billion.
Could really
You'd
change.
hopefully
the thing.
think pretty similar.
So, yes, as we now know, this book was a massive success, and 3 print runs were needed to cope with the demand. Because everybody wanted a copy.
I'm just going to do an original cover check because he said he designed it himself.
He did design it himself.
little
Probably
love
saved
heart,
a few shillings
what I'm
there.
saying.
Yes, it's like a,
Yeah, it's like
that's a 9 of hearts, I think.
Yeah, it's got some hearts on the front, nice gold lettering.
Yeah.
A whisper of love, a whisper of hate.
Doesn't say
is
that on
what
the
it
cover.
says, yes.
Oh. I'd buy that.
They should have made the movie posters.
Like the book covers.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
that would have been cool.
Ian Fleming.
Now,
Sorry.
You know, I'll just stop talking.
do you guys know where the name James Bond came from?
I think I read this.
No idea.
I don't know where the name came from, but I know.
Did it come from?
The
Did it
vibe.
come from Carl and I at the start of the episode?
Was it the CEO of Bonds?
I think so. It's even more exciting than that.
Oh wow, it's for his friend or something.
Even more exciting.
Son.
James Bond.
His son.
I don't know.
No.
James Bond Fleming.
Fleming took the name for his character.
His cat.
No.
His dog.
Sorry, I
bird.
misled you a little bit. Bird is on the right track, but
His lizard.
he took the name for his
iguana.
character from an American ornithologist who studies birds called James Bond. He was an expert on Caribbean birds and an author of the definitive field guide, Birds of the West Indies.
Okay, you know what
That's
this
so
is.
cool.
You know what this is. He's just living in Jamaica, writing books and looking at birds. That's all he's doing.
He's living the best.
When you just reach a point, you're like, you know what, birds.
Birds.
Birds and books.
So he was a keen bird watcher himself.
Of course he
I'm
was.
glad he was keen.
He was very keen.
So he was actually quite a bored bird watcher.
He was like, if I have to.
The guy in the bush on the BuzzFeed quiz.
That is such a random thing to say now, but I love it.
So he had a copy of this book written by James Bond, and he told the real James Bond's wife that this brief, unromantic, Anglo-Saxon, and yet very masculine name was just what I needed. And so a second James Bond was born.
A cooler one.
Yeah, way cooler one. Sorry.
Yes. Although, in a 1962 interview that he did with The New Yorker, he further explained that, I'm quoting again here, when I wrote the first book in 1953, I wanted Bond to be an extremely dull, uninteresting man to whom things happened. I wanted him to be a blunt instrument. When I was casting around for a name for my protagonist, I thought, by God, James Bond is the dullest name I've ever heard.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a little rough, I think.
That's brutal. Especially because it's a real man.
You'd be like, oh. But now, whenever you hear James Bond, you think, oh,
So cool.
pretty cool.
Daniel.
Daniel. So this character of James Bond was created based on all the individuals he met during his time in the Naval Intelligence Division, as we've heard. And he was a compound of all the secret agents and commando types that he met throughout the war. Interestingly, Fleming also endowed Bond with many of his own traits, including the same golf handicap, his taste for scrambled eggs, his love of gambling, and the use of the same brand of toiletries.
Wow.
Interesting. I wonder what brand.
Oof, we'll have to rewatch all the movies and see.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But Fleming did use well-known brand names and everyday details a lot in his novels to support the sense of realism. And this sort of got called the Fleming effect, which was described as the imaginative use of information whereby the pervading, fantastic nature of Bond's world is bolted down to some sort of reality, or at least counterbalanced.
That's really cool.
That's fun.
Yeah, so it's like the books are almost so ridiculous that using like really generic everyday stuff is like, oh yeah, this is normal. And now many of the names that are used in these Bond novels came from people that Fleming knew.
Oh my gosh. Moneypenny.
O'Toole. What was that person's name?
Plenty O'Toole,
Plenty O'Toole.
or some
O'Toole,
ridiculous name. But here's
Hugh.
two examples here.
Jaws.
Jaws.
Brutal name.
Goldfinger was named after the British architect Erno Goldfinger,
Oh my gosh.
and apparently Fleming hated his work.
Oh.
Could
So he-
Erno be Dr. No as well?
It's close. Yeah, I don't know.
Erno.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool,
He hated
Hated
him.
the architecture.
apparently.
Okay.
So he made him a villain.
Good idea.
Designer of furniture.
And how about this one? Scaramanga, the principal villain in The Man with the Golden Gun, who was not an option in the BuzzFeed quiz, was named after a fellow Eton schoolboy with whom Fleming fought.
Interesting callback
He's
to
just holding
the
grudges.
comment on the BuzzFeed quiz.
He
In
does
the
hold a
villain,
grudge.
where the hell was Scaramanga?
Yeah.
That is what Natalie
learning that
Lawrence
Ian
is.
Fleming
asking.
is a very I don't know.
Imagine you were reading the book and you went,
That's me.
hang on,
I punch him in the face.
why am I the villain of this
You're right.
story? Yeah. And he has never forgotten it.
This guy went to war and he still hates me.
So here are some themes that pop up in the Bond novels. Britain's position in the world. The effects of the war.
Of course.
Comradeship.
Oh yeah, long comment. Yeah.
The traitor within. Sort of a double
me.
agent
Sorry.
sort of.
That's a
I thought
top
I'd
5
reveal
theme
it.
right there.
The traitor within, yeah. Good versus evil.
Oh yeah, that's number 1. That's got to be number 1.
That's a big one. And Anglo-American relations.
20.
Oh, top 20 theme of all time. You're
That's got to be up there.
theme tier.
All right, are you ready for the full list of Bond novels?
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, these were released sort of basically every year, which is pretty impressive. He was cranking them out. I mean, he only needed 2
He
months
was in
to write them.
Jamaica. He wasn't looking at birds.
He'd write for 2 months and do nothing for 10 months. Look at birds. So, excuse me, the first one, Casino Royale.
Yep. I was thinking about birds. And the 2-month window was what he put in his contract
Yeah.
at his job.
So he was like, I've got to finish it before I go back to work.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get to the bird tier later. Anyway.
Okay, here we go. Live and Let Die, Moonraker, Diamonds Are Forever, From Russia with Love, Dr. No, Goldfinger, For Your Eyes Only, Thunderball, The Spy Who Loved Me, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, You Only Live Twice, which was in 1964. Unfortunately, he passed away this year as well. The next two were published posthumously, The Man with the Golden Gun and Octopussy and the Living Daylights, which were 2 short stories. So he wrote quite a few.
The Living Daylights.
That was a
That was
Dalton.
yeah.
Ah,
What are yours?
That's one of yours.
yes.
Yep.
There you go. So in May of 1963, Fleming wrote a piece for the Books and Bookman magazine. Could be good to look into. And he described his approach to writing these books. He said he writes for about 3 hours in the morning. He does another hour's work between 6 and 7 in the evening. He never corrected anything and would never go back to see what he'd written. By following this formula, he would write 2,000 words a day.
Wow.
Just spilling.
Just going for it. which is, I think is pretty impressive. I feel like 2,000 words a day, that sounds like a lot to me.
That's a really good day of writing. 2,000. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he could do that
Takes me
every day.
like a couple of days for an essay, you know? Takes
Couple
me a
of
while.
days.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Maybe if you were in Jamaica and looking at
birds. You know what? I'll do that.
you would feel inspired, I think.
I'll do that.
Yeah. So, for the first 5 of his books, everyone was loving it. Positive reviews, couldn't get enough. People were chomping at the bit for the next one. But in March of 1958, his work was attacked by Bernard Bergonzi.
No, not Bergonzi.
I know. And he said this.
Is he going to make him a villain? Sorry.
The next villain of his book. He said Fleming's work contains a strongly marked streak of voyeurism and sadomasochism, and that his books showed a total lack of any ethical frame of reference. Which is,
Some big words
pretty rough criticism, So after this, for other things, Fleming went into a bit of a personal and creative decline. And his mood of weariness and self-doubt was sort of affecting his writing, and it comes across in Bond's thoughts in some of his later books as well. Which is a little bit unfortunate, sad.
It's just, what drink would you like, sir? Milk. Chocolate milk.
Shaken, not stirred, yes. But not all was bad. In 1961, sales increased dramatically due to one thing.
I couldn't imagine what it was.
I don't think you can.
He started writing with his left hand.
Wow. Apparently 4 years after the publication of Dr. No, an article in Life magazine listed From Russia with Love as one of US President John F. Kennedy's 10 favorite books.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah, okay.
And after that, everybody wanted to read it.
Yeah.
And so he was back. He was so back.
When you've got the K's approval, it's just like, damn.
That's all you need.
I'd say he probably at his peak as well. Best time to get an endorsement from him.
I think one of the movies was JFK's favourite movie.
Really?
Yeah. And
Would have been
I
like
think it
one of
was-
the first couple.
he got shown like an early screening, and then
Right.
it was like when he died. Like that was the day before or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
I could be spitting nonsense right here, but
Dr. No, yeah.
me
So
check
the
this.
first one.
That's so interesting. We got to fact check that.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
Anything popping
yeah,
up?
look. I don't know.
Well, we'll take it as fact. We can do some off air research into
Yeah.
that perhaps. While you're looking at that, Jonty, do you have something there?
Yeah, apparently JFK was a huge fan of James Bond and requested a private showing of Dr. No, which is, of course, the first Bond film, at the White House. And, yeah, From Russia with Love was known to be one of his favourite books. So there you go.
A true Bondman of JFK. It'd be remiss of me to talk about his writing career and not mention some of the other books that he wrote.
Of course.
His first work of non-fiction was called The Diamond Smugglers, published in 1957, and was partly based on background research that he did for Diamonds Are Forever, which I think is quite cool. Thought I got a lot of info here. Better publish something else. 1960, he was commissioned by the Kuwait Oil Company to write a book on the country and its oil industry. But apparently the Kuwaiti government disapproved of the typescript and it was never published.
Oh,
Was the reason they asked him because he was dealing with like... I don't know, why would they ask him of all people? Like, it's because
know.
of his involvement in World War II?
Maybe. And maybe just because he was like a really popular author at the time and they were like, who can we
that's
get?
so random.
His second non-fiction book was published in 1963. It's called Thrilling Cities. And it was a reprint of a series of Sunday Times articles that were based on his first impressions of world cities in a bunch of trips that he took during 1959 and 1960. It's a bit of like a travel kind of vibe. But how's this? I love this one. April 1961. I don't love this part actually, but I need to mention it. 1961, he had a heart attack during a meeting, one of the weekly meetings at the Sunday Times newspaper, where he was still working. While he was sort of recovering, one of his friends gave him a copy of Beatrix Potter's The Tale of Squirrel Nutkin.
no way. That's an old timer.
gave him this book and suggested that he take the time to write up the bedtime story that Fleming used to tell to his son Caspar every night. And that bedtime story was about a flying car. Fleming went for it. And he wrote to his publisher, and he was saying that, this is a quote again, "There is not a moment, even on the edge of the tomb, when I am not slaving for you." Writing a book. And the result was Fleming's only children's novel, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang,
Whoa.
which was published in 1964, 2 months
Legendary.
after he died.
He wrote that letter to his publisher.
Yeah, it was like, even when I've just had a heart attack, I'm still writing books for you.
Wow.
Wow. Far
Yeah,
out.
so I did not know that he wrote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang,
No.
No.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wonder how much that goes for.
Oh, it's got to be heaps.
Yeah.
I love how he writes one children's book and it's like incredibly popular.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Looks like there's a few there.
A few different covers.
Well, it says 1, 2, and 3
Oh,
on this picture
you're right.
we've come across.
You are right. Maybe it was split up into sort of a serial.
Is it Chitty
Yeah.
Chitty Bang Bang, then Chitty Chitty Bang Bang Bang, and then Chitty Chitty Bang 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 Bang?
Yeah, there are follow-up volumes. It looks like they were written by other people.
Yeah, were they written
Yeah.
by him?
Oh, there's the squirrel nutkin fact again.
Yep.
Let's put that in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfor-
crossover.
Unfortunately, this leads into some sad news about Ian Fleming. Unfortunately, he was a heavy smoker and drinker throughout his adult life, and as we sort of mentioned, suffered from heart disease. In 1964, so this is a few years after he had this earlier heart attack, he had another heart attack while having a meal at the Royal St George's Golf Club, and he died at the age of 56 in August of 1964. Unfortunately, on his son's 12th birthday.
Oh,
No.
far out.
Yes. His last recorded words were an apology to the ambulance drivers for having inconvenienced them, apparently. And he said, "I'm sorry to trouble you chaps. I don't know how you get along so fast with the traffic on the roads these days."
How sad.
Which is very sad. And then apparently he was buried in a churchyard of Sevenhampton. I'm not sure where that is. But his will was proved on the 4th of November, and his estate was valued at £302,000, which was,
Wow.
in 2023, was equivalent to £7.7 million.
Wowza.
So quite a lot of money. But during his very eventful lifetime, he sold 30 million books.
Whoa.
And in the 2 years after he died, that number was doubled.
Far out.
2008, he was listed by the Times as 14th in its list of the 50 greatest British writers since 1945. And in 2002, Ian Fleming Publications announced the launch of the CWA Ian Fleming Steel Dagger Award, which is presented by the Crime Writers Association to the best thriller, adventure or spy novel originally published in the UK.
That's cool.
Quite
Okay.
the lasting legacy, this man.
I wonder if the award is just a knife.
I reckon it would
It probably would be, right?
A blade.
Imagine you wrote a thriller about winning the award and then using it to commit
Kill someone.
crime.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Maybe we should do that. Get Jonty to write it for us.
Thanks, Jonty.
It'll only take you 2 months. To finish off the episode, we're going to look at the James Bond movies and the pop cultural impact that they've had. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I want to talk about how the first one was made and like the story of that, because it was originally bought by Albert R. Cuddy Broccoli and Harry Stoltzman, and they acquired the film rights to Ian Fleming's novels in 1959.
Sorry. What was his name?
Albert R. His nickname was Cuddy
Cuddy.
Oh,
Broccoli. Yeah.
Cuddy Broccoli.
Yes.
His last name was Broccoli.
His last name's Broccoli.
Oh, that's
The
great.
One of the Broccoli family.
Best last name.
Yeah, the Broccoli family now own the film rights to James Bond. They're like the people that produce it. Recently sold it, I think, actually.
Yeah, they sold it to
Yeah.
Amazon, didn't they?
I was going to say, yeah.
Well, whoops, sorry about that. The
Because
Broccoli
MGM has
yeah.
lost
for a good amount of money, I'm pretty sure as well.
Broccoli doesn't grow in the Amazon. That's probably what Jeff said
As he signed it.
when he
Yeah.
put his cowboy hat up to his spaceship and left. That's great.
How much money did they make? Anyway,
Billions.
but yeah, the Eon production company would have until this point now made all the James Bond movies. Albert Broccoli was a successful producer or before this, but he wanted to adapt the novels because he really liked them, as most people did. And he lacked the funding, so he partnered with Harry Stoltzman, who helped buy the rights and make the movie. The original movie had a budget of $1 million, which was low around this time, and it wasn't backed by any major studios until United Artists came in to help, and they were very skeptical with the appeal of Bond in movies. Despite this, the movie made over $59 million worldwide, and then they just increased the budgets for all of them. And the second Bond movie came out the year after. But there were multiple actors considered before this, including Cary Grant, David Niven, and Richard Johnson. And Sean Connery wasn't actually considered for the role until much later when he came in and auditioned for it. And they didn't like Sean Connery for the role, but what's his name? Albert Broccoli. His wife, Dana Broccoli, said she really liked his look for Bond and said, let's pick him. And he went, all right, yeah, cool. He looks good to me. The original gun barrel opening sequence wasn't actually Sean Connery. It was his stuntman standing in for Bond.
Oh,
Wow.
imagine you were that guy. Far out.
So like the probably one of the more iconic Bond moments that they've used in a lot of them wasn't actually the original Bond, which is pretty funny. And the film was shot in Jamaica.
Oh, yeah.
Which was the setting of the original of the original book, as well as England at the Pinewood Studios. And they filmed many on location at the beach where the book takes place. And
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
the original plan was to make Thunderball the first movie, but there was a legal dispute over the script rights, which forced Eon Production Company to choose another book. And Dr. No was selected because it was a relatively simple book compared to some of the other books in the series. It's like they thought it was quite
Achievable.
Safe.
for a very low budget.
Fair enough.
And in the book, this is a fun little fact, in the book, Bond faces a deadly centipede in his bed, but due to filming constraints, it was changed to a tarantula crawling on Sean Connery's chest.
That's worse.
And and Sean Connery was terrified of spiders. So the scene was shot with a pane between him and the tarantula.
Really?
As in, like, there was glass
There
on
was
his
glass
chest.
on his chest.
Can't want to rewatch that now.
What? I wonder if you probably can't tell, actually.
Yeah.
We'll watch that after.
Yeah.
We'll top up
funny.
on tarantula scene after.
It looks pretty good. It looks pretty real.
Good acting, that guy.
Yeah.
A lot of chins there.
It was a very chin heavy man. Anyway, to go on to the rest of the Bond series, because of the first movie coming out in 1962, Dr. No, James Bond is one of the longest running film franchises in history, spanning about 6 decades, and it's one of the only franchises that beats it in its longevity is Godzilla, which started in
That's cool.
1954. Yeah.
Imagine the next Godzilla movie is James Bond versus Godzilla.
We've definitely spoken about Godzilla before.
Yeah. I think we brought up the
54,
original.
I think, in the past, yeah.
Yeah.
Who would win?
Please, can that be?
I
I don't know who I have to ask.
James
but
Bond
please.
would make like an anti-Godzilla bullet.
So
True.
Amazon have just acquired the rights. So I don't know if
Who owns the rights
I'm
to
gonna email them right now.
Yeah, please make a James Bond.
Get the
versus
Godzilla people on the phone.
But
Let's
make it
this
Godzilla
happen.
who's in a little suit,
Yes.
because that's interesting.
Toho. Does he say the name's Zilla Godzilla?
I want to have like a meetup where they like shake hands.
the American ones are Sony,
Sony.
unfortunately. But
Do they play?
But
They play
Godzilla's got Kong as the muscle.
Yeah, but would Bond bring in any of his muscle?
The birds. The birds of Jamaica.
Yeah, the real James Bond actually comes in, because there's probably no rights on that guy. Anyway, there are 27 Bond movies as of now.
Wow.
With 7 different actors playing the character, with Roger Moore played him the most with 7, and Sean Connery played in 6, but technically Sean Connery was in 7, but it wasn't produced by Eon Productions. So like it's
An
not,
unofficial-
It's like an unofficial Bond
Which one
movie.
was that?
I don't know.
I thought Roger was in more.
Well said.
There you go. Nice.
There's also, I don't know if you're going to talk about this, but the crocodile one.
Oh, the stunt where
Yeah.
he jumps across.
They had like 3 or 4 real crocodiles
Yeah.
that the stuntman had to jump across. Like you
Yeah.
had to hop from crocodile.
Yeah, there's a lot of like behind the scenes footage of that as well, where he like
Yeah,
he like doesn't
run.
make it.
He had to run out of the water.
The unofficial ones never say never again,
Right.
I think.
Justin Bieber did.
I wonder, does that count towards the overall? I wonder. Yes, it was much later. I was looking into this, but yeah,
Released in 1983.
Yeah, he does look a lot older.
yeah. I think this was when someone else was Bond.
Directed by Irvin Kershner. Do you know why he's
Isn't he
notable?
the dude who did
Wilson?
Kershner? Isn't he the guy who directed Empire Strikes Back?
Spot on. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
It's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, collectively, all the Bond films have grossed over $7 billion. Oh. Making it one of the highest grossing franchises of all time.
All right, how much is Godzilla
And,
made? Let me
okay,
check.
but Skyfall alone made $1.1 billion.
Whoa.
Okay.
To be fair, this could be a hot take. That one's right up there.
Oh, yeah.
With the best.
One of the best.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
The Godzilla franchise, all the movies, has grossed $2.5 billion.
That's so...
Wow.
Bond has done so much more.
How many Godzilla movies are there?
Heaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Is there about 27? That'd be crazy.
If there's the exact
If there's
same
the
number.
exact same.
Here we go.
Oh.
Oh, there's a... Yeah.
38.
38.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely
33.
more Godzilla.
Makes sense. John Barry and Monty Norman's Bond theme, first heard in Doctor No, is one of the most recognizable pieces of music, but they based it on another song.
Dance Monkey?
Yes. They have claimed there was a massive legal dispute. They haven't actually named the original song, or not to my knowledge, because John Barry claims that he wrote it, but Monty Norman was the one who, like, what's the word? He, like, wrote the music, then John Barry performed it.
Right.
So, like, there's a massive dispute over who owns it. But then when they were having this dispute, he just said, oh, yeah, I actually based on something else. So, like, you know.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
Awfully convenient.
And also, as we all know, many Bond, in fact, all of them feature original songs by massive artists with Adele, Skyfall, Paul McCartney, and The Wings, Live and Let Die. And 3 Bond songs have won Oscars for Best Original Song, those being Skyfall, The Writings on the Wall by Sam Smith, and No Time to Die by Billie Eilish.
I actually didn't know that Live and Let Die was a Bond song.
It is. Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a swan song.
It's at the start of it. Is that one of the Pierce Brosnan Bond movies? Live and Let Die?
Live and Let Die.
I don't think so.
Paul
definitely
McCartney
seen-
blows up.
No, it's Roger.
Roger.
Rog.
I've definitely seen that movie, and it's a very fun intro. Kind of comes out of nowhere. And some other artists who made Bond music are Louis Armstrong, Duran Duran, Tina Turner, and Madonna.
Really?
What a wonderful world. That's gotta be.
Imagine hearing his raspy tones on a Bond theme. But this is what I really wanted to get to. The franchise has set multiple world records for stunts.
Stunts.
Those include, I'll start with the first one, which is in Casino Royale, the Daniel Craig one, has the most cannon rolls in a car during a chase scene. So essentially, if you remember in Casino Royale, he's driving to Mads's whatever, I think he's chasing Mads, and he flips the car. It flips 7 times. And the way they achieved this was they used nitrogen power cannons on the side of the car to, when it flipped the first couple times, they shot it so it would flip more times. And they flipped it 7 times in a row.
And they survive.
So
is
yeah,
a sick stunt,
it was
yeah.
only beaten recently by the Fall Guy, which achieved 8.5 rolls.
How? Did they use cannons?
Oh.
That's that one on the beach.
Yeah, on the
right?
beach. Yeah, yeah, they use cannons.
Wow.
I think they explained it in the movie how, like, in Fall Guy, how they do it, like somewhat.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. Some of the other records they've done are kind of ridiculous. This next one is the largest stunt explosion, which was in the Moroccan desert, and they used
Inspector?
Inspector, 8,418 liters of fuel and 33 kilos of explosives.
A little overkill.
The blast was equivalent to 68 tons of TNT, and it lasted over 7.5 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
That is insane.
You can only do that once.
Yeah, you'd want to get it right the first time.
And I'm pretty sure there's like an interview with Daniel Craig. They're so far away, but even like they were so far away, they could still feel the heat of it.
I mean, they look far away, but they don't look really
They don't look far enough away.
That's probably like 50 meters away.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
crazy.
really cool.
And the next one, the last record they have, is in No Time to Die, the most recent one. They set the record for the most high explosives detonated in a single film take, which was 136.4 kilos of TNT.
Which one? When does that happen?
I don't know. I don't
At
know
the
when.
end?
I think it's
Right
at the end.
I think, right?
But I
Yeah.
don't know why they had to actually do that.
I see that was special effects.
No, they just wanted to do some big explosions.
Okay.
Yeah, good on them. And for the pop cultural impact of Mr. Bond, Bond has had a pretty incredible influence on the spy genre, as you would assume, with Dr. No releasing in 1962, and in 1966 alone, 22 secret agent films were released to capitalize on the success
Oh my
of Bond.
goodness.
Wow.
And as we all know, Austin Powers, just
Yeah.
a straight spoof of James Bond. And they actually kind of used a template that was created by some of those like middle era Bond movies of like, you know, gets the girl, what happens, the massive ransom with a nuclear bomb. It's like that all was pretty seriously done in Bond, but then Austin Powers just made it a joke. And Bond has had many advertisers come on board. One of the biggest ones is Omega Watches, which became a sponsor of James Bond in 1995 with the release of GoldenEye, and Aston Martin, which the Aston Martin car was used in the third James Bond movie, Goldfinger, where he was given the car by the gadget maker Q.
Iconic vehicle.
DB5 or something, right?
Yeah, something like DB5, yeah. And cigarettes as well, as Ian
Marlboro.
Fleming was a very big smoker.
Yeah.
Were used in the movies very heavily. Apparently in the books, Bond was described as smoking up to 70 cigarettes a day. However, this habit wasn't truly ever used in the movies. But this is also apparently to point out how boring real-life espionage is, which has been a lot of critique of the Bond films, is they're very inaccurate, which of course they are, because they're fun. But
I don't want to watch a guy smoke 70 cigarettes.
Well, it's like looking at someone.
That's the plot of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. It's just a movie where people sit around in rooms smoking and talking, and then very occasionally something happens.
Yeah. In the 1960s and 70s, tobacco companies were brought in to help fund the movies to show off their product. And I think it's on another tab. I had what he was smoking, his favorite cigarette in the movies, and he said it in the movie. Where is it?
Dropped the name of the brand in the movie.
Yes,
I'm placing bets
Malden
on
Specials.
Oh,
That's what you're about to say.
And he claims how much he loves smoking Moreland.
Thanks, Bond. Very cool.
However, in recent movies, he's stopped smoking because of the change in attitude around. In fact, some Bonds, Daniel Craig is a no smoking Bond.
Yeah.
Whereas most of them kind of have
I like that.
a little bit of smoke, And another cigarette fact about Bond.
Great.
When he says James Bond for the first time, he is lighting a cigarette and then smokes it immediately after saying it.
That was the gif that I got when the BuzzFeed quiz gave me Sean Connery.
Yeah, so, and then also, he's a bit of he loves his alcohol. with obviously shaken, not stirred, the martini, as is his right. But to go on with the theme of gadgets,
Oh yeah.
I thought I'd make a game
Oh,
about his gadgets and his popular gadgets.
Oh, cool.
So I thought I would, as we normally do, is this real or not? Is this a
Okay.
gadget that I have made up or not?
Great.
Because
I love
there are
this.
some pretty crazy James Bond gadgets, and I really want to share them with you. So the first one is the shark gun.
Yes.
Shark gun. What does it do?
It fires air compressed bullets, causing human sized targets to rapidly inflate and explode.
What?
Why is it called a shark gun?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with it. I thought it shoots sharks. What?
Are we saying yes?
I'm saying yes.
All right, yeah. Yes. Whew.
The shotgun is real. The bagpipe flamethrower and machine gun.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
This was a
yes.
set
That's a
of
classic
a set of,
espionage movie.
a set of
Disguise
bagpipes
yourself.
that also double as a flamethrower and machine gun.
Yes.
And can you play them?
Yes.
That's
the
definitely it.
vacuum cleaner Gatling gun. Oh no, the golf bag from Johnny English that turns into a massive gun.
Yes.
Yes.
That is
no.
Yeah,
correct.
awesome.
That's sick.
It's pretty cool image. Sonic cufflinks. Cufflinks that emit a high frequency sound wave capable of shattering glass and disorienting enemies.
Nah. I reckon it'd be something else.
I don't mind it, but yeah, I'm going with you. No.
That is correct.
Nice. All right, let's
Sonic
get them all. Let's get them all.
Yeah.
Cigarette mini rocket. A cigarette that secretly contained a single shot firearm used to eliminate an enemy at a crucial moment.
Yes. Actually, no. I'm going to say no. Because they wouldn't want to show the cigarettes actually killing people.
True.
No.
Yeah. No.
Call me Dr. No because it's a no.
Oh.
The cigarette gun is real.
Call me Dr. Yes. Damn it.
Used in You Only Live Twice.
Ah, yes.
Oh.
Of course.
What?
There we go.
It is exactly what you can imagine.
Shooting cigarette. That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's got it between his fingers and it's
Between his
just blasting off.
You definitely lose a finger. The wristwatch grappling hook.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's real.
Iconic.
And it was a Rolex that they pointed out in the movie.
I don't know.
of
Mega
course.
Watch. Was this before the sponsorship?
This is before the
Yeah, yeah,
sponsorship.
yeah.
The taser umbrella.
No. I'm going to say no.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna
Because
say.
if you use it in the rain, you're going to die.
All right. For the sake of going, I'll say no as well.
That is correct.
Nice, good shout.
You're doing pretty good, surprisingly. Like besides the cigarette one, which is it's disappointing. Radio transmitting toothpaste.
Yeah.
A tube of toothpaste that secretly contains plastic explosives
Yeah.
used for discreetly placing bombs.
Yeah.
In the mouth.
Anyway,
Oh,
you
no,
just
no,
put
no.
it on
Yeah,
the
okay,
website.
yeah. I'm so sorry.
You go. I'm gonna wait till they brush their teeth and then I'm gonna blow them off. Yeah.
In Agent Cody Banks, he uses Mentos, which explodes.
Yes.
That's just like that.
That was used in License to Kill in 1989, and it was called the Detonite.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's like a big brand of it on the
Yeah,
front.
that's good.
Chess piece explosives.
What? Oh, chess.
When would you
hollowed
ever need
out-
a chest piece explosive?
Playing a deadly game of chess.
No.
Yeah. No.
Well done.
Oh yeah.
You've seen through my ruse. The submarine car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes.
just want to look at it.
Iconic vehicle.
All right. One more.
Yeah, one more. The auto tying bow
it's so
tie.
Auto tying bow tie.
Auto tying bow tie. A self tightening bow tie that can be used in an emergency.
For what?
No. An emergency.
Quick! I don't have time to get dressed.
I just wonder how they do that effect.
The
one
auto
with a tiny
tying.
bow tie.
Yeah.
Oh well, it is not real.
Okay, cool. That looks like a Lamborghini.
Yeah, the
a
car
Lotus.
is so cool.
Yeah,
I think we only got one wrong.
you only did get one wrong.
Well done.
That's pretty good.
After I kind of like tried to put in some cigarette facts so you wouldn't get it wrong. How you've disappointed me. And Santa.
Well, thanks, Wilson.
Very welcome.
Thanks for putting the lid on that top up.
Yeah.
I like looking at Mr. Bond.
Lots to learn about there.
That was fun.
That was fun.
The personal enjoyment for that's through the roof.
Got to go watch some Bond movies now, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Go see how much they smoke.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you feel topped up and spied up. Where can people find us?
Well, they can find us at ToppyPod on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok.
Oh yeah. And you can email us at toppypod@gmail.com.
Yes.
Tell us your favorite spy gadget.
Yeah. And give us ideas for I don't
Future
know.
top-ups.
I was trying to think of James Bond things.
Oh.
Send us your favorite James Bond moment. Except just Daniel Craig.
Who's your favorite Bond?
Yes.
Daniel Craig.
So many things you could tell us in an email.
It's got to be James Bond, the
The
Birdman.
ornithologist. The OG Bond.
But yeah, thanks for topping up. Have an awesome day and have a top year.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.